leaderboard here.
Here comes heat 2 in lane 10, currently in 20th place from CrossFit Stoughton, Katrin Tanya David's daughter. In lane 1, currently in 19th place from CrossFit Maximus, Jennifer Smith. In lane 9, currently in 18th place from CrossFit Kalmar, Caroline Rutland. In lane 2, in 17th place from CrossFit Plateau, Michelle Latondra. In lane 8, in 16th place from Valley CrossFit, Rebecca Boyd. In lane 3, in 15th place from CrossFit Construct, Elizabeth Akinwale. In lane 7, currently in 14th place from CrossFit Omaha, Stacy Tovar. In lane 4, currently in 13th place from CrossFit Port Chester, Kalina Ladarius. In lane 6, in 12th place, Ruth Anderson Horrell. And in lane 5, currently in 11th place from CrossFit Chickasaw, Michelle Kinney. 1 minute.
Heat 2 ready to get underway. I'm Sean Woodland alongside 2009 CrossFit Games champion Tanya Wagner. The Sinko 1 and the Sinko 2 events 11 and 12. And in lane 2, we just saw one gymnast do very well. Michelle Latondra, another woman out of Canada East, and another woman who can excel at some of these movements.
She has a very strong body weight background. She's great with her upper body strength, and she's a very more well-rounded Michelle Latondra than we've seen in past years.
Over in lane 5, it's Michelle Kinney who comes in 11th place overall.
After missing the games last year by 1 place, taking 4th in the Central East Regional, she is back this year and proved that her training over this past year has proved to be very successful, sitting in 11th place going into these final 2 events.
Event 11 of 12, the Sinko 1 underway. 3 rounds of 5 deadlifts at 265 pounds and then 5 one-legged weighted squats on each leg and then an 80-foot handstand walk. And it's Elizabeth Akinwale out to the early lead.
No surprise there with how strong of an athlete she is and her ability to move that deadlift weight at 265 pounds.
Akinwale now through 5 of her one-legged squats. She's on round 1. The time to beat, Danielle Horan, 4:46.6. Rebecca Voigt, she's in lane 8. She's been at the games every year since 2008. She currently sits in 16th place.
Now, all of these women prove that they can do pistol squats or one-legged squats at the regional level, but this is much more challenging with that weight.
Elizabeth Akinwale is an athlete who will not have a problem pulling 265 pounds for 5 reps, and now she's on to her 2nd round of one-legged squats.
Elizabeth Akinwale has a 425-pound deadlift. That is incredible. She's had a little trouble here on balance with her one-legged squats. And for some of these athletes, they're just not used to pistol squatting or one-legged squatting with that weight, so it's going to take them a few rounds to get themselves acclimated with that object.
That kettlebell that they're holding weighs about 35 pounds. Michelle Kinney on the left in lane number 5. Next to her, Ruth Anderson-Harrell, the woman out of New Zealand. And then next to Harrell in the all pink is Stacy Tovar. But it's still Elizabeth Akinwale now on her 3rd round of deadlifts here. The time to beat, 446.6. This is the 11th of 12 scored events. Akinwale, your leader on the left, on the right. The women who are trying to vie for 2nd place. Right now it's Jennifer Smith, Ruth Anderson-Harrell in the all red tights there. She's up there as well. And Stacy Tovar in the all pink on the right side of your screen, challenging for 2nd and 3rd place.
Stacy Tovar with that aggravated left shoulder. She has some injury there, had to fight through it at regional levels. We're gonna see her push as hard as she can here at Sinko 1, because Sinko 2 will just be survival with all of that shoulder taxing on the muscle ups and the handstand push-ups.
These are back-to-back events here. The Sinko 1, there's a 7-minute time gap and a 1-minute reset, and then we'll get going on the Sinko 2. So 100 points at stake in each event, and now Elizabeth Akinwale getting a no rep on that one-legged squat.
Not only do you need to hit depth with your hip crease going below the knee that you're squatting on, but it's that opposite foot that cannot touch the ground until you fully stand all the way up.
Ruth Anderson-Harrell and Jen Smith are tied for 2nd, and now Elizabeth Akinwale is done with her 3 rounds of deadlifts and one-legged squats, and there goes Elizabeth Akinwale, not a woman who's been known for her body weight movements, but she is motoring on this handstand walk. Elizabeth Akinwale, if she can keep up this pace, she's going to set the time to beat easily.
She didn't have as much balance on those one-legged squats, but she sure has it here. The coordination, the stability.
Akinwale, as the crowd is on its feet here watching her go unbroken in this 80-foot handstand walk, and what a somersault out of that across the finish line. Elizabeth Akinwale by more than a minute, 3:32.2.
That was impeccable form, flawless movement all the way through. What a way to finish.
And the crowd loved that. In lane number 1, that's Jennifer Smith. She can still beat the previous time to beat and put herself in 2nd place overall. 3:32.2, though, the best mark just set in style by Elizabeth Akinwale. Less than 3 minutes to go before we hit the 7-minute time cap. And in lane 7, Stacy Tovar has also gotten to work on her handstand walk, but no one is going unbroken like we just saw Elizabeth Akinwale. And now Jen Smith back on her hands.
This is more what I expect to see, a little bit more of that wiggle, that shakiness, showing some fatigue in the shoulders, but Akinwale didn't look fatigued a bit.
And there's Stacy Tovar, all the tape on her left shoulder. That's been there ever since the competition started. And now in lane 6, Ruth Anderson-Harrell and Becca Voigt in lane 8 in the yellow, trying to surpass that woman, Jennifer Smith, who has a very short lead. But now Becca Voigt in lane 8 in the yellow in the middle of your screen. There's a large contingency of fans here cheering her on from Valley CrossFit, and now Becca Voigt trying to hold off Jennifer Smith in lane 1. Smith is down, and here comes Rebecca Voigt.
We've seen a lot of sprints.
She's got to get to the finish line to stop her time. She was so happy that she forgot to do it. It cost her a couple seconds, but she gets in at 5:05.7, and she has a good laugh over that.
We've seen a lot of sprints here that have finished up and made differences here at the CrossFit Games this year, but this is the first time we're seeing a sprint on our hands.
Now it's Michelle Kinney who's in the lead, but here comes Jennifer Smith in lane 1, but Michelle Kinney's going to hold her off. Kinney's across, and she's got to get to the finish line. That officially ends the event for her, the Sinko 1. So Michelle Kinney, 5:34.5, puts her in 5th place right now in event 11 of 12, the Sinko 1. There's Jennifer Smith, who's just been struggling through this handstand walk, but she has plenty of time here. The time cap is 7 minutes. But if you can get done early, you get more rest, and that is huge as we head into the Sinko 2.
Especially if you're having trouble with the handstand walking, it's just going to fatigue those shoulders a lot before going into this next event.
Jennifer Smith is in 6:04.6 in lane 9. Caroline Franklin in the yellow shorts. She is done, and Franklin is in, closing out event 11 for her, the Sinko 1. And now Ruth Anderson-Horrell out of New Zealand. She's across the finish line. Ruth Anderson-Horrell a time of 6:24.5. And now Stacy Tovar with her shoulder heavily taped, just a few more feet to go. She'll have to re-kick up in that handstand. You can see her almost grab for that shoulder there. You know she's in some pain.
She's anguished on her face. She's looking in pain.
And she just barely hobbled across the finish line. You can tell she hurts. Stacy Tovar gets in underneath the time cap, 6:42.9. Kalina Ladaris thought she was over the line, but she's going to have to go back and complete that handstand walk, and that might cost her. She's across. She needs to hurry to the finish line. And Kalina Ladaris, we'll have to see what her official time is. Right now she's listed at 6:52.6 seconds, but her judge called her back, so that may change. It's her top three. Elizabeth Akinwale destroying this event and setting the new mark to beat.
And with her deadlift strength, we didn't expect them to be a problem at all. What surprised me here was her ability to have such control on those handstand walks.
We will reset and now get going on the 12th and final event, the Sinko 2. 3 rounds of 5 muscle ups, 5 deficit handstand push-ups. Then you have to pick up that 100-pound barbell and lunge to the other end of the floor. Heat 2 of event 12, the Sinko 2, the final event at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games underway, and it's Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet who currently has the time to beat at 6:47.8. Michelle Latondra is already done with her first round of muscle ups, and now on to her deficit handstand push-ups. Elizabeth Akinwale in lane 3. She won, or her heat in event 11, the Sinko 1, and now trying to put together another first place finish here. Rebecca Boyd, the CrossFit Games veteran who's been here since 2008. Her best finish was 3rd in 2011, and there's Stacy Tovar with about 9 pounds of tape on that shoulder, and she's doing everything she can to get through this competition.
She's having trouble even jumping up to the rings. She said it was the regional event when she jumped up into the rings for that very first burpee muscle up that really she knew there was something seriously wrong with her shoulder.
She's talking with her judge, Chris Russell.
After deciding to go to the doctor after the regional, she found out she had a fractured scapula and a sprain as well as tendonitis in that shoulder.
And it doesn't look like Tovar is going to be able to go. And she can't grab. She's telling her judge, the head judge, Adrian Bosman, that she cannot grab the rings and probably doesn't want to risk further injury here. And you can tell how disappointed Stacy Tovar is.
She's a fan favorite. She's a strong competitor. It's always upsetting to see this happen to the athletes, but she has years ahead of her still.
And just the motion of trying to get up there. She's trying to get up there and maybe complete a muscle up. She gets herself up and over. So Stacy Tovar gutting it out, very much in pain. Tovar has 4 reps down. And she's gonna keep going.
She told me it hurts. That first rep always hurts. But if she can get past that, it kind of goes numb. I just think she's done too much on it over the course of this week.
Well, Tovar battles through this. Michelle Latondra is through 2 rounds and starting on her 3rd. The crowd cheering her on as she gets number 5. Stacy Tovar. Now the deficit handstand push-ups. Michelle Latondra is your leader right now in lane 2. The time to beat is 6:47.8. It belongs to Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet. This is the second of 3 heats in the final scored event here at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games, the Sinko 2. Latondra's through 3. on her third and final round here. She looks very strong on that.
She has that really aggressive kip, that aggressive way of throwing herself over the rings. I remember seeing that in the very first event with those bar muscle ups.
Latondra in first place is on your left. The woman chasing her is on your right. That's Michelle Kinney out of the Central East region. And now Latondra, 5 final deficit handstand push-ups before she will pick up that axle bar, put it above her head, and then have to lunge 80 feet with it. That axle bar weighs 100 pounds as Michelle Kinney now trying to put the finishing touches on her final set of 5 muscle-ups. Kinney is done. She has one more before she finishes. And now it's Michelle Latondra on the left. She's through 3 handstand push-ups.
When you do deficit handstand push-ups, it is important to hold your breath and stay as tight as you can in your core to avoid that big arch. You don't want to get halfway up your handstand push-up and not have your feet on that wall and get a no rep.
Latondra is done with the muscle-ups and handstand push-ups. It's now to the axle bar. She'll have to get that onto her shoulders and then overhead. And now she has to lunge 90 feet with it to the finish line. She has more than 2 minutes to do it if she wants to set the new time to beat Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet. The other woman out of the Canada East region, Michelle Latondra, finished second in that regional behind Bazinet, and you know she'd love to chase her down here.
There are a lot of similarities between the two athletes in their strengths. And right here, when you see how Michelle holds that bar overhead, she has nice shoulder strength. She keeps her shoulders active, is what we call it, when they lift from their lats and they hold their shoulders up nice and high, not letting the weight push their shoulders down. It's a great way to stabilize the bar. You saw she just slipped there. It is a fat axle bar, so it's a lot thicker than the girls are used to cleaning.
Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet was the only woman to complete this event inside the 7-minute time cap. And one thing that makes that axle bar different than your standard barbell is it does not spin. That presents some problems as well.
Especially when the weight is 100 pounds and you have a heavier load like that.
Michelle Latondra now about 2/3 of the way through her 90-foot lunge, about halfway on the floor for her, but she is way out in front. And now in lane 9, that's Caroline Franklin. She was second at the European Regional. So we are approaching the 6-minute mark, and we'll have 60 seconds to go before we hit the 7-minute time cap after that. Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet, the only woman so far in 2 heats to complete it. But Michelle Latondra is hoping to change that. Latondra moving methodically down the floor, 90 feet. Now the crowd starting to come alive a little bit as she approaches the finish line. She's inching closer and trying to reel in Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet and take over first place in this event. Tovar has decided to tap out, but she's not leaving the floor. What CrossFit is all about, she's on cheering her competitors. Stacy Tovar put up a heck of a fight here in this event, but that shoulder just was not going to hold up. Now Michelle Latondra doesn't look like she's going to catch Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet. She's got 10 seconds to get herself across the finish line. The crowd here at the Step Up Center trying to cheer her on. 4 seconds to go, now 3, but Latondra is not going to beat Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet, so Bazinet still remains your leader in this event, but Latondra can become the second woman to finish inside the 7-minute time cap. She's got 5 seconds to go, now 4. Latondra across the finish line, and it looks like she just got in. She may not have gotten across the finish line in time, so Michelle Latondra did not make it across the finish line before the horn sounded, so 7:01 for her, as there's a 1-second penalty for every rep you don't complete. Now that score's been updated to 7 minutes, so it looks like she did just get across the finish line, so Latondra now sits in second place in this event.
What a strong push to the end. She heard the girls behind her dropping those bars. She knew she was joined by a few others. Helped to push her a little faster.
The Sinko 2, the 12th and final event here at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. And in Heat 2, it's Michelle Latondra beating out Caroline Franklin, Michelle Kinney, Becca Voigt. Michelle Latondra, when you give her gymnastics movements, body weight movements like this, she's not going to have a problem.
She is a strong upper body. She was a swimmer and a water polo player. She has very strong shoulders, very strong upper body. This final event was just in her wheelhouse.
She just got across the finish line before the horn sounded. Stacy Tovar was not able to complete this event because of that shoulder, but she gutted it out here.
An incredible performance all week long, fighting through every rep. You see the pain on her face. But what a good athlete and person in general, staying to cheer on her fellow competitors when she's in that much pain.
Becca Voigt leaving the floor for the final time here at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. The Sinko 1 and the Sinko 2. They have tested these athletes. We will have more live coverage from the Reebok CrossFit Games when we return.